Well, I'd like to welcome everybody today. Today we have a very special guest, Alan Fine, who is a visible expert in the area of captive insurance. Now, if you're not familiar with captive insurance, we'll learn a little bit today about what it is and about Alan's rise to prominence in this area. As you know, we've been doing a lot of research on visible experts, and we're doing an interview series, and this is a chance to hear directly from the visible expert what is it like to be a visible expert and how did you end up there. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Alan. He's a member in Brown Smith Wallace. So Alan, tell me a little bit about before you became a visible expert in this area, what sort of a practice did you have?
I started with Coopers and Lybrand after graduating law school, and at the time I thought that I wanted to do primarily estate planning or family wealth planning. But in the background, I always had this deep interest in the corporate tax side of things. And I had the opportunity to do a couple projects there was a specialized practice at Coopers and Lybrand that was very strong in St. Louis, an insurance tax audit and tax practice. And I ended up doing a few projects, including private letter ruling requests for the insurance tax practice, and really enjoyed the opportunity, enjoyed getting back to the corporate tax side of things. And they asked me to join their practice full time. And so it was with Coopers and Lybrand. They later merged with Price Waterhouse through 2004. And through my career there, had the opportunity to become exposed to not just the insurance tax side of things, but a subset, if you will, dealing with what are captive insurance companies. And so, as I came to Brown Smith Wallace, had the opportunity to start developing a niche practice within our insurance tax practice focused on helping our clients create captive insurance companies.
Now, at what point in your career did you say to yourself that, this is starting to have an impact? I'm starting to see people come to me and it's become a direction for my career. Did it hit you all at once, or is it something that you sort of gradually dawned on you over time?
It dawning on me came first. The people contacting me came second. Really, the interest in focusing on it had always been in the background. And I shouldn't say always, but had been in the background while I was at PwC. But when I came to Brown Smith Wallace and had really an opportunity to kind of direct where my career was going to go, had the opportunity to start doing more and more in the captive space, and devoted more and more time focused on captive insurance companies. Started doing more marketing, speaking at conferences and things of that ilk. And it's really been within the past couple years that people have actually started reaching out to me. Not to say that I don't have to reach out to other people still, obviously, but where I've started to get enough traction where there's an interest and people are contacting me either through referral sources or their own search on the web.
Now, a lot of our folks will have technical backgrounds and they'll know what a captive insurance firm is, but can you, for those who don't, just give us the quick rundown on what it is and what it means?
Sure, absolutely. A captive insurance company, and there are small captives and there are large captives, is basically an insurance company that is devoted to providing insurance to its group of owners. So there are what are called group captives, and so you may have a group of automobile dealers in a particular geographic region that may all band together to be able to more efficiently obtain insurance through this group captive. You also have, different entities that set up their own captive, and it is strictly for that company. So, for example, you may have a manufacturer that says that we can't get certain coverages in the marketplace, or we don't want to go into the commercial marketplace for whatever reason. We're going to set up our own small insurance company, and it's only going to provide insurance to us and our subsidiaries and related companies.
Now, how new an area of practice is this? Is this something captive's been around forever, or is this something that is newer?
It's definitely been around several years, probably 35 or 40 years. There have been changes in state regulations that have expanded the utilization of captives, or the availability of captives, if you will, onshore. A number of the offshore domiciles, Bermuda in particular, has had captive enabling laws for many decades. But
Now,
it's been, I'm sorry,
no, go
it's
ahead,
just
please.
been within the past, probably started about 25 years ago with Vermont. But I think at the present time, there are probably 30 or 35 states domestically that have laws that enable people to set up captives here in one of their states.
Now, you have the advantage of being someone who's already very well known in the space and seen as an expert. As you look back on how you became that person, what are the things that you found helped really increase your visibility and help start turn the tide to people coming to you?
Some of it, fortunately, the work that I've done with some of my clients has paid off. They looked to the projects that I've done for them, the advice that I've been able to give to them, and so the insurance market, if you will, the insurance industry on the tax side is a fairly tight knit group, and within the captive, which is again a subset of that, it's an even smaller. Well, people know each other better. And so there are, through referrals, that's certainly been one avenue. I've written a number of articles, some for client-specific publications, others for Captive Insurance Times, as an example, and then speaking at a variety of captive insurance seminars and events.
And what have you noticed about how your practice has changed as you've gained, you've built up your expertise and more people are aware of you? What's your practice like now and what you do now as opposed to what you did 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
In terms of a very specific change is that I've had a number of people that have reached out to me for assistance with examination with the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. Certainly, before the past few years when I had done the article writing and the speaking engagements, that was something that didn't really take place. But now, again, through referrals and through word of mouth and things on the internet, people have reached out to me, and I've been able to assist them with their ongoing IRS exams.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned something that's if you'll forgive the pun, captivating, and that is that you, through articles and through things on the internet, and when you talk to partners at CPA firms and so forth, they'll say like, well, my clients don't go online, or none of the clients that I work with ever Google anything or look anything up. What's your experience been with the world of online as it's starting to evolve?
Honestly, my experience, and I can't say with all of my clients in the captive arena, but within the past 2 or 3 years, the clients are prospects are coming to me, and they are far more educated than they were 5 or 6 years ago. They've done the research. They've looked at it. They may have had somebody else mention to them something about captive insurance companies, and sometimes there's something that sparks them, and they say, okay, I want to learn more about it. Or they may have a business associate that also has a captive insurance company, and they may be talking over a drink or lunch, and the associate says something about the captive, and again, something strikes a chord, and they start researching. And fortunately, at that point, there are times that my name comes up, and then people have reached out to me.
Mm-hmm. And what do you notice? And by the way, that's exactly what we're seeing, throughout professional services. It's really a sea change that's happening where clients are more educated, they're doing more research, they're coming to you with some sense of they want to talk to you because you wrote that article or you're the expert on that. When you get a referral like that, or a someone who finds you directly online, what have you noticed about how easy or difficult it is to turn that into a client, to turn that conversation into a client? Does it make it easier?
It does tend to make it easier. Sometimes they're looking at, a handful of service providers and they're trying to gauge who they have the most comfort level with. In a lot of areas, it's still very much relationship driven. And so it's about starting to forge that relationship, being able to communicate with the prospective captive owner and, try to find out what it is that's driving them. Why are they interested in a captive? And not just from a sales perspective, trying to sell them on something, but what we do, we don't do anything things that are cookie cutter. What we try to do is design a structure that is specific to the client's needs, that's going to meet their business needs. And it just so happens that when you do that, that's one of the requirements for the IRS to respect it, is that there has to be a valid non-tax business reason for why you're doing that.
One of the things that we know, there's two big characteristics of how people judge someone as an expert when they're talking to them. One of them, of course, is that their friends and colleagues and so forth have said, "Hey, you should talk to this person. Alan's an expert. You should talk to him." So that clearly is happening as you describe the marketplace and the tight knit nature of it. The other thing that we find is that people really respond when you take a complicated subject and you make it simple, make it understandable. You can't make it more simple than it is, but you make it understandable. Have you noticed that as your career has developed? Have you noticed that explaining and educating people makes them think well of you?
Absolutely. We had a situation where we went out to meet with a prospect, probably end of November, right before Thanksgiving, I believe. And we had an hour and a half meeting with them, and they seemed very, very receptive and very interested. And as we were, walking out of their office, they happened to mention to myself and a business associate that was with me, this is the third time we've heard this presentation, and it's the first time that we've understood it. And that maybe sounds self-serving for me to say that. I had other people that were with me that helped explain it. But again, I think that, as you present something a number of times, you become far more comfortable with it, and you also become more aware of when something strikes a chord or is a particular interest to the person you're speaking with, and you can focus the conversation on that. So what are your concerns? What is it that you're looking for? And again, there was a specific nuance of their business that they were looking to the captive for. And so we focused the conversation on that and gave examples that helped them understand why this could be beneficial to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would, if I may, just like to piggyback on something that the first part of your question, which I'm talking about colleagues. One of the situations that I had actually earlier this month was someone that I used to work with when I was at PwC, who since left and is a partner at another firm in insurance tax, but just does not have the captive expertise, actually reached out to me. Has reached out to me a couple times actually for assistance with his clients with their captive issues and concerns. So that was something that, again, I guess theoretically you might say that we're competitors, but, we've maintained a friendship over the past 15 years. And, and I reach out to him with questions that I may have in his specific area of expertise. But this was something that he reached out to me. And so that, it's very, very rewarding when something like that happens.
Yes, it is, and it's rewarding to be recognized for your expertise. When you've devoted your career to that, and you've really found some ways to distinguish yourself and increase the visibility. Which brings me to kind of my last question here, and that is, if you were giving advice to a young associate who wanted to follow in your footsteps, who wanted to become an expert in a particular area and become noted for it, what sort of advice would you give them? What do you think would be most helpful to them?
It's certainly it's a matter of devoting yourself to developing the expertise in that area. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to, there's the technical training that you can do by going to seminars. There's, you can learn by talking to other people that have spent a lot of time in the industry, and that's something, frankly, that I still do, that we all do, is reaching out to other, respected participants in this industry and asking questions. What do you think about this? Here's what I think, but tell me what I'm missing. And having that dialogue with them, and through that exploration, learning, you continue to learn. The other thing is really, again, just as I mentioned, devoting the time to it, understanding that's going to take time to become recognized as an expert, but it will happen over time with, through the research that you're doing on your own, the seminars that you attend, the speaking engagements as you get more comfortable, and then obviously the most important part is doing the work.
Well, thank you very much. This has been very helpful. We want to thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule. I don't know a visible expert who isn't busy, and sharing some of your learning and expertise. So again, thank you very much.
I enjoyed it a great deal. Thank you.